Good evening, everybody. Really, Groot? Is that how you're going to start the show off tonight? Oh, how's everybody doing? Happy Sunday night. It is Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern on the East Coast of the United States. Forgive me, Groot. Maybe you guys can't even hear him. He's just making a lot of noise. Anyway, thanks for joining. Tonight is, again, open mic night. I'm going to have a guest on that in a few minutes, Matt, who's going to talk to you guys about the upcoming break. We're going to talk about the break, talk about his channel a little bit, chit-chat with him. But I'm going to open the mic up to others to join as well. So let me do this. Copy the clipboard. Okay. And then I can put this in the chat. I'm going to wait a few minutes. So things we're going to talk about tonight. I want to talk about the Dallas Card Show a little bit. I've watched a lot of content on it. I'll tell you right now, my favorite piece of content so far on the Dallas Card Show was the box battle between Jeff from Sports Card Investor and the two dudes from the Loot Box Show. And I'll be honest, I don't really know the Loot Box Show. I have seen them in my feed. I think I do subscribe. To me, what's up, Knuckle Breakers? What's up, buddy? There's Matt right now. We're going to introduce Matt in a few minutes, but I loved watching this box battle. First of all, I hate box battles personally because it's just luck. You might as well just play black and red on roulette, right? Because it has nothing to do with the human being. The human being doesn't change the outcome of the cards. The cards are in the box. You pick one box is better than the other. This was one of the best ones I've ever seen. I don't know if did anybody else watch this? If we have, drop it in the chat. Anyway, I'm gonna ruin it for you if you haven't. I'm gonna tell you. So they do this box break, and their rules in this box break are they're doing select football, right? And you open packs until you pick the card that you think is going to be the best card in the box, and you stop there. You can't take any of the cards that are left in the packs. You can't take any previous cards. You have to pick the card that you think is the best card, and you stop with that. Which that's a weird rule. I've never played that well. Like, I don't know if you guys have played that way. I don't like that. There's too much. Why would I do that? But here's what I did like about it. It shows your knowledge of card value, right? Because you have to decide which one has the most value. This is select football, okay? This was epic, right? It was epic. So Jeff goes first. Jeff, Sports Card Investor, and he's flipping through, and he shows like an insert silver. I think it was an insert silver Burrows and that. He has some cards. He has some pretty bad rookies. He does get to a Herbert field level silver. Big card, you think? I mean, think about this. Field level, silver Herbert in a hobby box. That's a phenomenal pull. In past years, that's a great pull. That is boom. That's like, it's better than a silver Prism and Prism because this is field level. This is Herbert. It's in a hobby box. You're thinking that's a good card. It's very interesting here, too. So, and you don't show the other team what you have. So Jeff stops. He's like, yeah, I got it. The camera sees it. I'm thinking that's actually a pretty good card. He has a good chance of winning this. I'm going to speed this up because I'm taking too long here. The other guys go, the loot box guys go, and they're flipping through it, right? And they end up they pull a one-of-one NFL shield of some freaking random dude. Oh, yes, you saw this, right? And here's what I learned from this. They automatically see the shield. They see one-of-one, like, oh, yeah, oh, the crowd's cheering. We win. And they call that card as their card. Now, again, if you know football, there are a lot of just crap players in football. I mean, like bench players, guys who aren't going to see. I don't even know who the guy was. Does anybody know the guy who was in the one-on-one? So right there, I'm thinking, well, that was a poor choice. I honestly right then thought, well, hands down, Jeff's going to win this. The silver field level Herbert's probably $1,000, right? Anyway, short story, dude, that card's not $1,000. That card's like $400. The one-of-one, they couldn't get a real accurate pull. In fact, to be honest, most people agreed that silver Herbert was probably better. But they decided to do an extra box break to kind of make it fair. And I think that was nice of them. But here's the cool thing. And I'm going to make you watch the rest of the video if you want to see a wins. They end up opening the other select packs to see, hey, what else is in the select packs? And Jeff pulls field level Tua green to 5. 4 of 5. 4 of 5. Boom! Now that is a huge card. I mean, in hobby, let me just explain this to you. That's hobby select. Numbered to 5. There's probably, I don't know, 10 variations numbered to 5. So it's probably one of 50. I'm just teasing you, but still, it is field level Tua numbered to 5. We should look that card up later on and see what the comps are on that. I'm going to assume that's a pretty big card. I'm going to assume it's a couple thousand maybe. And graded, it's probably going to do really well. But when that card was on the line, man, whoa, and somebody won that. So you can check it out. Anthony, I hope you're going to join me tonight. So hope you're sticking around. I'm going to drop in the chat real quickly. The StreamYard, join ye in the conference room area thing. I'm going to invite Matt on, Knuckle Breakers on first. And we're going to talk a little bit about Knuckle Breakers and the break he's going to help me do. And then I'm going to open the mic up to other people. And I'm going to invite everybody to come in and talk. We can talk about the box break. We can talk about Dallas, talk about the market, talk about whatever it is you want to talk about tonight. Let's just open mic night it, have fun, chit chat. I think I did that. Did I put that in the chat? Yeah, okay. So there it is. That is there. I want Knuckle Breakers to dial in first. Anthony, I'd love for you to join as well. Thanks for joining, man. And anybody else in the chat is available. How about those? Dude, let me tell you something. I think they're going to win. I think the Phoenix Suns are going to win. Can I ask a dumb question? Is this best of 5 or best of 7 in the first round? Is it best of 5 or is it best of 7? Can someone give me an answer on that one? But I think the Suns are going to win. I just don't think the Lakers have it this year, right? And I think there's a lot of hungry people in the West. I think the Suns have a legitimate chance of taking them out. Best of 7. Thank you, Trigger Finger. Thank you very much. It is best of 7, even in the early rounds. It used to be best of 5, but I do recall it now moving up. Lakers taking it, no doubt. So here's what I'll tell you. The investor in me, right, the money mind that I have would say, look, you're right. I think Lakers are going to go. I think Lakers will be in the finals. I think every series might go 6 or 7 games, and they're going to make it dramatic. And at the end, LeBron's going to move. He's going to take, what is this? It's Kobe's Hall of Fame year. He's going to take them into the finals. I agree they looked old, but I think that's a story. I think this is what the NBA wants. The NBA wants the ratings. If the Lakers get knocked out in the first round, let's ask 2 questions. Is it good or bad for ratings? And then is it good or bad for the cards, right? For ratings, we know the ratings go down if Lakers aren't in there. And I think it's actually better for cards, though, because I think there's more rookies in the Suns and more people could step up and somebody else could win a championship from the West. I mean, that could be exciting. Matt, are you still around, man? Did I miss you yet in the chat? If not, I'm going to open the mic up to other people to join. I don't want to lecture all night. So it's a very interesting series to see what's going on. I'm excited. I'm watching right now. I have it muted. I have the sound muted, but I am watching the Knicks and the Hawks game. I have to say, man, I'm really loving the playoffs. I really am. There's just been some good games. You're watching some good play. You're watching some players, do really well. Chris's injury. How bad is that injury? I saw him get injured, but I will tell you, man, he's got a heart of a lion. He will only sit out if he really is injured. He's not a guy who's going to sit there because he's got a bruise. If he can play, he'll play. Larry's real just. I agree. Get me wrong. If I was betting man, again, if I'm a betting man using my investor mind, I'm saying Lakers and Nets are in the finals. I still think the Nets beat the Lakers. I do. And think about how damaging that would be. Okay, no problem, man. Take your time, Knuckle Breakers. I'm thinking about and I don't say damaging, but whose cards get hurt more, right, if they don't perform? Like right now, if I look at all the teams that are in fact, let me just do something real quickly. I think I can share, right? Let me share my screen thingy, right? I do this and then share screen. And go over here. See, I like following these rookies right here. I don't see my own head up here, but I guess you guys are seeing this. I like following these guys, and I'm just saying who has the most upside. Like, I think Morant and Tatum look very good, but I don't expect them to roll on in the next round, right? Giannis will be interesting. To me, Giannis has to make it to the finals for his card to move. I really mean that. He has to make it to the finals, not just the Eastern finals. He's got to make it to the finals. He can lose in the finals, but he's got to make it there. Zion's already out. Can Trey go up? Like, what do the Hawks have to do to move his card up? Does he have to make it to the Eastern finals? Would that be enough? Right? No one expects him to make it to the finals, but if you make it to the Eastern finals, would that be big? That would be big, in my opinion. Luka as well, right? Luka, what do we expect from Luka? I'll tell you, I don't think people have them beating the Clippers. I expect they're going to beat the Clippers. I would love, if I could pick the teams I'd love to see, I'd love to see Luka in the finals versus the Knicks or the Hawks, right? That'd be exciting to me. You have young rookies. Hey, Trey versus Luka in the finals, man. That would be so awesome. Let me flip back here. Stop sharing because I apparently can't see when I'm sharing. Where did I go here? There I am. Okay, there's Matt. There we go. Adding to the screen. Adding to the screen. Adding to the screen. There we go. There we go. How are you doing, man? Can you hear me?
Hey,
Mike,
can you hear me?
I can. It could be my
I can hear you now.
My internet could suck, so forgive me if it does. Hopefully the audience can hear us all very well too, man. Thank you for joining. How are you doing? How's your weekend?
Doing great. I'm doing great. The weekend's been pretty good. We've been kind of streaming all the time now on Breakers TV. It's one of our new kind of ventures, and we've gone live the last 3 nights with YouTube. So yeah, it's been fun.
Wow, man, that's awesome. Breakers TV, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's www.breakers.tv /Knuckle Breakers, and we stream from like 9 in the morning to midnight at night if I'm not on YouTube. I use it not only as a way for people to get in touch with us and to showcase what we have going on, but I also use it for advertising for like the first from 9 to 12. Yep. I'm in the background and I'll have it streaming kind of what we have going on in our breaks, kind of like a slideshow of what's going on.
Wow, man, that's
with
amazing.
our and on the internet. So yeah, it's just a way if I'm paying for it, I might as well use it for advertising. So you know what I mean? I'm paying $16, $17 a month. I might as well use it. So we've been doing that. It's been a lot of fun meeting some new people. And we've kind of gotten off of eBay a little bit and kind of explored more of our Facebook community as of the last month or so. So we're advancing that as well, which has been a lot of work, but a lot of fun and gratifying as well. So a lot since the last time we talked. When we first talked, it was literally like 2 weeks before I was about to do this as like a
full-time job.
3 weeks before I was really committed to doing it full time. And about a year and a half later, we've gone through ups and downs, and finally we feel like we're kind of on this niche right to a good spot to help you out, but help anybody out there that's looking for a budget affordable break. Something we have on our Facebook groups right now are anywhere between $12. Yeah, I said it. I've had breakup right now. It's $12 per team, and then all the way up to I think the biggest one that we have right now is $35. Really cater to people who are looking to get into budget affordable breaks, knowing from the community how expensive it is and how expensive the hobby has gotten. It's really nice to be able to give, and they're not crap breaks. Like we have a breakup right now for $35. It's a box of Bowman 21 and 2 boxes of Inception, random teams, and anybody that gets a crappy team, I'm giving out freebie stacks, which I'm admirably calling the knuckle sandwich. So you get a stack of inserts, rookies, base cards, other things to kind of level off the playing field. I mean, the last couple nights ago, somebody bought like 5 of them. You can buy them from me for $5, and I have them in baseball, football, basketball, hockey. It's all from old, new. If I know who you are, like I try to mix in your PC so you get something that you want. And she walked away with a Bo Bichette rated rookie, Red Stars to 45. So that's not a shitty card for the money. So for me, I'm really excited to bring that stuff to the table and try to make people excited about breaking, because I know how hard it is to get onto eBay or to see Facebook groups that are already committed and I've been there for a long time to get your teams at a good price. So we've mixed up formats. We're going to be doing a city break soon, so I'm pretty excited about doing different formats, trying to mix things up, trying to just that's going to have 3 different sports in it. So I'm really excited about that one. We've been working behind the scenes, an admin and myself, trying to make sure that all the teams are fair. And I have 4 or 5 of the admins check the team list out, and they all were excited about it. So I looked at it and said, "There's no real bad spot you can be in. You get 3 or 4 things for a really good price, and it's 3 different sports, so it's kind of cool. So, yeah.
So just so everybody knows, I mean, like I said, I've known Matt for years. You started doing hockey breaks, right, in a small group up in New York, and
Yeah.
Right, and then you went to kind of making it full time, and you started in the beginning. You went through struggles of using eBay, right? You sold on eBay sometimes at a loss, right, in order to just get people and get clients.
Yeah.
You had distribution in the beginning. Can you talk a little bit about that? About kind of lessons learned? Like, I think one of the misconceptions out there is that anybody can go do this, and you can just go get some retail, and you can start your own breaking company. But there's a lot to it, right? There's a little more challenge there.
I think for those who think that's easy, it's a wild wake up call when you do more than 2 or 3 a week, and you feel that brunt, and then the next thing you know, it goes to 3 to 5 breaks, to 7 to 10 breaks. At one point, we hit on eBay. I had 10 to 12 eBay breaks listed a week, on top of 3 to 5 off on eBay or on Facebook, and it's just me. So it's me doing the breaking, the sorting, the packing, everything. And 3 or 4 of the breaks of the the eBay variety were half case of jumbo series 1, which is about 1,800 cards a piece. So I was like, at one point I was like, this is getting ridiculous. But it's very difficult to not only manage your time, but to manage the product that you're getting in. One of the theories that I'm an open book. I pretty much don't care, because if you're going to try this, God bless you, and amen to if you succeed. But I think it's very funny when people say, well, anybody can do it, it's just ripping open cards. Well, yeah, anybody could do that, the basic function of it, but to do it well, to do it accurately, and to do it with a form of purpose, it's very difficult. And as far as, like, you were talking about product, we're finally getting into allocations. I've literally been doing this for 6 years, on and off, through big distributors, through little distributors. I dealt with a distributor for 2+ years, and I kept asking, when can I get allocations? I buy this, I buy that. When can I? And if people don't know what allocations are out there, allocations are basically MSRP prices on boxes. So you basically get what the retailer intended the box to cost, not what Blowout or anybody else decided that it was going to cost. Now, lately, recently, those products are all under subject, because the distributors are now looking at themselves like we could do what David Adams does, but they give you a nice little break, and the cushion that you get and the discount between that and the retail often ends up in your pocket, which normally it didn't before. And when I say that, I'm not saying that, oh, woe is me, because you can make a good living off of this if you do it right. If you're planning ahead and looking to the forecast instead of being reactionary, because I think that's another thing that took me a long time to conceptualize was, well, I need to be 3-4 weeks ahead of what I'm breaking today in order to figure out how I'm going to make money next week. It's that kind of thought process, as opposed to being like, well, I have $1,000 and this is what I can do with it. That's all I can do with it. If you plan yourself out ahead of time and think to yourself, what's the product that I want to hit? So you identify target products like Prism, Prism football, Prism basketball, Prism baseball this year are all hot products and hot commodities. We've talked about that at length between us, like if Prism's really worth it, or Optic, or this, that, and the other. But Prism seems to be the GOAT in this respect. So, when you look at that and you can budget yourself out to say, okay, Prism drops in 3 weeks, I need to make sure that I have XYZ in my pocket to make sure that I can secure that. That just checks a box off that you can, kind of go forward in the business and say, okay, well, I've got this money earmarked. I'm fine with that. I'm good. And I didn't do that enough. I did a lot of reactionary stuff, which was some dollars, and then after you get it and you try to go list it and stuff like that, you're like, shoot, I'm behind already. And it moves so quickly, especially when you're breaking on a platform like eBay and everybody's got it. It's very tough because it comes to the point where you're competing with 6, 8, 10, 12, 15 breakers online. And then if you have the same price, they get the patrons instead of you, or you might get the patrons, but they're at a lower price denomination. And so you wind up losing. There's a lot that goes into it. I mean, I think even at 6 years in,
is business still doing well, and is it still competitive amongst breakers? You used to hear about breakers poaching from other people, right? In the Facebook groups, he poached my business. Is it competitive like that, or is there a lot of business still happening?
It is, and that's stupid. Poaching is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. If you out there think that somebody else is poaching your members, even if they reach out and say, "Hey, listen, I do breaks, blah blah," it's the dumbest thing, because eventually, especially on like an eBay platform, everybody's customers run into everybody else's customers.
Yeah.
You might catch a guy that maybe he's off that night and his customer comes to you. But I've been reached out to behind the scenes from like big breakers wondering why I'm poaching, and I'm like, show me. Show me what I did. And a member said that you reached out and you said you did breaks too. And I said, okay, but they've gotten into my breaks prior. And I just reached out to them and said, hey, I'm doing this on Facebook now. Would you like to come and check us out? And to me, that's not a I don't think that's a egregious, or back like 5 years ago, I would have scalped somebody. Like I was a friggin' madman. And people were so protective back in the day. But I think because everybody's trying to get into this stuff, everybody's trying to get into that, it's kind of like a big communal like cluster.
Well, I think what's good about the breakers when they work together is they keep the scammers down, right? If you're communicating with other breakers that, hey, Frank was in my group, he still owes me money, or I shipped him something, or whatever it might be, you want to share that information, which is what I like about the Facebook groups. You see that a lot. Like I'll get in breaks with people, and I know that they're in other groups. If any breaker goes rogue, that spreads like Brandon Cooks to 99, right?
Oh, absolutely. No, I had an issue with somebody. I reached out to one of my friends. Hey, if this guy's in your group, watch out.
Yep.
And he was like, yeah, no, he's not. No, I appreciate it. I think, just to put a bow on it, I just think that there can be a movement where breakers help each other.
Yeah.
And there can be times when breakers will go out and help each other, but you have to be secure enough in understanding that people are going to spend their money on the product, not the face. Yeah. Right? I love it to be people like me, and that's what they want to do and they want to get into it. But ultimately, if it's a good price and it's the product they want and they're impulsive at that time, they're going to buy it.
I agree. I mean, a lot of people say, well, I only break from one guy. I trust this guy. Trust, to me, in the breaking world, I trust a lot of breakers early on because I see they have a business. They have more to lose by screwing me over than they have to gain, right? I will say I don't just go with any breaker. I'll make them see they have some breaks or other people I know are using them. But if I see it's a breaker and friends of mine are using, I will trust them. Because like you said, it's a small community. You're not there to burn anybody. Now, I will say, here's an interesting story I heard about the other day. This really got me annoyed. I don't know if you saw this on Facebook. A guy was in a break where he had the team, he paid for the break, and a huge baseball card was pulled. I want to say it was a couple $1,000 baseball card. And the guy just went and refunded his eBay money and said, I'm not sending you your cards. I'm keeping the card. And the guy, basically, he was complaining about it, but he couldn't really complain because eBay looked at it as, he refunded your money. You got your money back. I can't do anything about it. But it was a huge multi-$1,000 card. And my only thoughts were, that is where your trust for that breaker, because that breaker just basically, look, I'm done breaking. I'm going to cash out on this one card. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I always put it this way, because I've had people like, I haven't fucking gotten this, and blah, 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 and lost their mind about something here or there. There is not one card, and I'll put this like on my tombstone. There's not one card on this planet that I would ruin my ability to do this as a livelihood. Like, there would be no reason for me to lose. Like, someone said, well, yeah, if you pulled the Zion Williamson 101, laundry tag or whatever. No, how could I ever move that card? One, right?
Yeah.
Because if I moved it, people would know about it. Two,
Yeah.
right? It would ruin my ability to fucking feed my kids. Like that's not something that I would ruin. But
well, also, you think that that's going to put you on the map too, man. There's going to be a lot of videos of you doing that. Here's a quick comment. I think this is funny by Cards and Comics. He does say you're no Titan Cards. I don't know if you follow Titan Cards. Do you know who Titan Cards is?
No, I don't know who they are. No, I apologize.
I will say I love Titan Cards. I watch Titan Cards when I'm bored. There's nothing else to watch. Check them out. YouTube Titan Cards. You'll understand why. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. All right. Well, I will tell you as far as like how I operate and who I am and how I do things live. I have a lot of fun. I have soundboard now, Zig. I kind of the way I look at my break stage, it's like a stage. It's a theater production, if you would. I have a lot of fun. I have
with the light.
It's even bigger now. It's even bigger. So
I know.
Yeah, I have lights and I have sound effects now, and I say what I mean and I don't hold back. So if I pull a card that's gigantic, I'm usually like jumping up and down and screaming.
That's awesome.
And yelling. I put the card in a top loader and protect it first, but I mean, when we pulled the Jason Dominguez 101 Superfractor out of Bowman's Best, the Power Producers.
I remember that picture.
And I literally was shaking. I got up, threw my hat, started yelling and screaming. People, like, guy afterwards was like, "Are you all right?" Like, checking on me to see if I was okay. But it's just like if you were sitting next to me and I was opening up a personal box for myself. That's kind of the way I look at it. I want you to feel like you're opening these cards and experiencing it just like you would at home. And
so,
to have,
two questions.
Sorry.
Do you add insurance on a card like that, and what does that insurance cost? And second question, do you ever get a tip from a big card where the guy's like, "Dude," and sends you some extra PayPal? Does that ever happen?
To answer your question, I priority mailed it. We did signature confirmation, and I put $1,000 of insurance, added insurance. I think the package wound up costing about $40 to ship, which wasn't too bad. He split it with me. He just said, reach out to me, and if I need to pay anything else, I will. It's like, I totally understand. And then two, I actually have gotten tips, but it was in person. I pulled a Justin Herbert Obsidian 2-color RPA. Well, it was a 3-color RPA, single color RPA down and bottom to 75. And I met the guy in person because he lived right across the border from where I am. And he handed me like $60 in cash and was like, "Thank you so much."
Nice.
Huge Herbert collector. And that was gratifying. I told him I didn't want it. He said, "If you don't take it, I'm PayPaling it to you. So you might as well take it." So
that's nice. I mean, I think look at it. It's a dinner. Go buy a dinner with your family or something. Buy some pizza and stuff for the night. I think it's awesome. I'll be honest. I have done that from time to time.
I think he was just really happy that I was okay to meet him, and that I was open to meeting him. I think it was like the second time he'd ever gotten to breaks with us. So
yeah.
There's a huge heart too. It's gorgeous. So I mean, he opened it up and just put his head down. It was like, this is amazing. So
we're gonna get to these questions in a minute. I did put a question. I do want to cover real quickly. So the goal here, guys, is that Matt is going to be hosting the break that I'm going to be filling up these spots with. Right, it's going to be a Donruss break. So question real quickly, Matt. What's the best way for me to get you the names of the registrants for you to ship the cards for them? And we're going to say quickly, we're not shipping all cards. We're going to make this easy on everybody. We're shipping the rookies and the hits and stuff like that. We don't need to ship everything.
Yeah, I mean,
if you
hit a Braun or somebody big, if you hit like a LeBron or something that you want sent out, I'll definitely send it with.
Yeah. And we might just ship the base cards.
Definitely. I'm not going to be the guy that
to some kids or something. So the goal is to make it a fun break. So quick question: what's the best way? Like I already have 12 people, and I'm going to fill up the other 30 spots, fill up the total 30 spots. What's the best way to have me get those people to you? Like, could they go to a website already and register and get a code from me that says, "Hey, Ziggy," and they're in the break, or get them their shipping information and stuff, or do you want me to wait?
The way I'll have you do it is once the break is about 20 in, once you have about 20 names, you'll just send it to me on Excel spreadsheet. We'll do like sheets, Google Sheets, so that you can share it, you can see it, I can see it, kind of thing.
Excellent.
And then what I'll do is I'll take that, and you can have them come over to the Facebook group, and what I'll do is I'll send everybody that's in that that list an invite if you'd like, and it'll also have a link to our YouTube page, because that's where we stream. We don't stream on Facebook. A part of that is the system that I have streams at such a high quality that YouTube the justice. You can stream it on your TV. I stream at 1080p, so you can literally watch it in high def. It just breaks down on Facebook. So
So when you can drop,
so that's pretty much the way I'll do it.
Drop your information in the chat today before you leave, or later on, so we have that. I will also post it for everybody as well, because I do recommend checking him out, checking out his breaks. I'm a big fan. I haven't been doing a lot of breaks recently. Budget and life have just kind of interrupted, but I do love breaking. So again, this break's gonna be fun. We're gonna have people. It's Donruss basketball. Here's another question: could we do this? Could we do the break and then random the names to the teams afterwards?
We could,
because I think that adds more suspense.
Like a reverse break, yeah, absolutely.
We have I want to get 30 people in the contest, and I want them all to watch, and then maybe like the best cards, like maybe it's a Stephen Curry autograph or something like that. So really, you want the Golden State Warriors instead of the Hornets. But I thought that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, I could definitely do it.
Yeah. So when is a good time to?
I could definitely do that.
When was a good time for you to do the break? And I'm not in any rush, right? It could be next weekend, next week, sometime in June. But I'd like and you don't have to answer that tonight, but think about that. I want to put a break date on the calendar, so I will then get those spots filled.
Okay.
And we'll get some people's attention on it.
Well, I will tell you now, ideally a Sunday night would be awesome. It's one of the nights that we pretty much don't break.
Okay. Okay. So it's not going to be next Sunday.
Unless something fills.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next Sunday's too soon, because next Sunday's also the holiday weekend. So let's tentatively say 2 Sundays away, which I think is the first Sunday in June, if I'm not mistaken. Sound good?
Yeah. It'd be like the 6th. I think that's that weekend. I think that's the date. But yeah, we'll put it together for definitely in like a couple weeks. I mean, the product's sitting in here. It's still
Anthony, you're going to be in this break, man. I see Anthony just chatted. He's excited to watch this break. Dude, you're going to get a spot in this. We're going to fill this thing up with some friends, some people. I want to make this fun for people to learn, ask questions about breaking. I also love what Matt's doing. Matt, do you still ship up to Canada? Do you have people in Canada?
I ship anywhere in the world, really.
Excellent.
I have kind of some little hacker tricks that I use to ship to Canada that allow me not to pay out the wazoo, which is nice.
Yeah, I think that's important, and Canadians know what that means. Canadians understand that, because I've heard that customs has been a pain lately. But the fact that my point is the fact you've worked with Canadians in the past, you know how to manage that. Yeah,
and the border is tricky. So I tell people all the time that if you do get into breaks and you're in another country, just be patient. It's not going to be where you get it in 2 days. I can get it to you in a few days, 3 days, 4 days. It is going to cost a lot of money if you do it that way. But I tell people just be patient. A lot of people that are in Canada, when I understand that coming from, the States, it's going to be about 10 days, 10, 12 days minimum. So, it's just basically understanding that and knowing what you're going to get and packaging it well. So
let me say 2 things. So first of all, I did drop the chat the link in the chat. If anybody else wants to join, please, the mic is open. We'd love to have you guys join in, talk a little bit tonight. Matt, can you talk a little bit about what's hot right now as far as sports? Like, are you breaking soccer? Are you breaking hockey? Is it still all football and basketball? Is baseball? What's hot right now? What fills quickly?
So what's hot right now? I mean, basketball is huge. It kind of has been over the last 2-3 years.
Yep.
Football, however, has been widespread over the last at least 8 months, 9 months. You're looking at a lot of football products being brought to the market, and it's expensive this year. This year's football, and that's all due to supply and demand. It's so expensive. Hi, Anthony. How are you?
Good yourself.
So it's been interesting to watch those products kind of grow, and soccer obviously has been gigantic this year. I'm not breaking any soccer. I just don't know enough about it. I feel like I have to know a little bit more about the sport in order to do it justice, because you can miss a card, you can miss something that's huge, and that's something that would affect the break itself. So I mean, for me, I try to stick to football, baseball, and basketball. Baseball affordability wise and products that you can get are beautiful right now.
That's true.
Basketball obviously makes the most money, in football, because of the lasting and is all the rage. So seasons also help it as well.
Yep.
So
let me first of all,
that's kind of what I'm doing.
Let me welcome Anthony into the show. Anthony, welcome for being here, man. Thanks for dropping in. Huge fan of your channel.
Yeah, no
if you
doubt.
guys don't know Anthony, you definitely should check this guy out. Anthony, do you know Matt at Knuckle Breakers? Did you guys know each other before, or just met tonight? I assume tonight.
No, just tonight. Yeah.
Excellent. Because you both are in the same area. Anthony is in New York City area, right? And Matt is in the Binghamton area. So
Okay.
same
Nice.
Yeah, I'm upstate.
collateral area. Maybe some card shows that are in common.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. I have family by there, so yeah.
All right.
Anthony, how are you doing, man? What have you seen this weekend? What are your kind of thoughts from the Dallas Card Show and the hobby, and how are things going?
I've been eating up all that content. I've been watching. I caught like all of Jeff's videos. I mean,
yep.
His stuff just gets better and better. And the loot box, you were talking about it before, but that was very cool and surprising.
That was the best part.
Yeah,
that was the best content.
Silver is going for like 400 is kind of crazy from where it was. It just keeps coming down. Yeah, I've watched a good amount of stuff. I saw Brad's video. He was with Sports Card Investor.
Yep.
I watched a good amount of what's Dustin's videos, Personal Finance Dad, a couple other guys too. But yeah, a lot of great content around the.
I wanted to see more of that box activity, though. Honestly.
Yeah, that was cool.
And I wanted some late night, having some drinks and sitting around, a little tilted, and just start talking, and not in a negative way. Just start talking to me. What are you seeing? What's going on? And I would have loved to see the guys get together and break a box, break it together and see guys what. I thought that was interesting, that Tua to 5. That was a sick card.
That was a monster.
I did make a comment. Yeah. They should donate that card to charity, man. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, they got some great cards besides, I mean, they got some nice silvers. I mean, Burrow, Herbert was pretty live in both of them. They got some really great cards. But that'd be cool to see it to go to charity. Because, I mean, well, how much are those boxes you by chance go for?
What are hobby select boxes now? 1,500, 1,200, somewhere in there, Matt?
Yeah, it's something wild. It's I think anywhere between like 1,250 and 16. You can pretty much.
But again, those boxes were pretty good.
There's boxes. A variation depending on where you get.
They had some definitely cool stuff in there. The Tua was sick.
Yeah,
field level.
I would
5.
I think the last this year's select as opposed to the last few years is loaded as opposed to like the content and get into blasters, retails, and hobbies. Like I feel like I know they put in two new field levels for this year's boxes and a couple new inserts, but I feel like I opened up a blaster of it and I got like 12, 15 rookies out of it and a bunch of die cuts. I was ecstatic. So it was pretty interesting. And, I think Panini is realizing that they have to stuff these things full to be hit loss. Right?
Well, I do. I mean, here's the thing. I will tell you.
So it's interesting to see how they're filling these boxes now too.
I've listened to Panini a lot in their interviews, and they are listening to us. The problem is, things take 6 to 12 months for it to happen. And as the hobby's changing, we're not adjusting fast enough. Like we wanted more shiny product. They made more shiny product. We asked for it last year, and now it's coming out. Box prices are going to go up. Retail box prices are going up. People have said, let's raise prices. They'll deter flippers. It's not going to deter flippers. right? I mean, if you're still going to pay more money for a blaster box if it's $29 or if it's $19.99. You know, you're still going to pay a premium on it. And I just wonder, like, I agree, Select is such a shiny product, but will it hold its value long term? And I think it's also going to make another grading race, right? I think as soon as people can, they're going to be grading those cards. I would grade them.
Oh yeah. Well, anything
So,
metal that chromium product is going to grade better than a paper product.
let me ask you: have you
and whatnot for the most part?
Matt, have you seen some of the new grading companies, the ones that are doing custom slabs and stuff like that? You have any thoughts on those?
You know, I watched your video today about Revolution and the Revolution grading company. I filled out an application to see what the deal was and how it works, and it's pretty streamlined, pretty easy going. I don't know how they grade as far as if it's strict or not. The slabs, the one thing that I'm not usually a fan of the color slab, but I really thought the cracked ice slab was pretty interesting. They match their cracked ice with a cracked ice slab on top, and that to me is kind of game changer. I think that's kind of neat, especially if you're PCing that card or whatnot. But I have seen a lot of the new grading companies. Listen, PSA needs to get their crap together.
And forgive me for my internet and my dog.
I think Beckett's fallen off a lot.
What I would suggest, Matt, is to have.
I don't nearly see them.
Sorry, guys. Can you hear me now? So what I would suggest, Matt, is for you to work with one of those grading companies, and you could then break cards and then send them to the graders directly from you, and the graders could then send them to their customers.
Well, I did offer that prior, where one of the slogans was from pack to slab and from pack to PSA pretty much, and then PSA shut down.
But PSA
and this whole situation happened. So I know that they're at the point where they're starting to get into their backlog. I just don't see that ever. It's not going to change for another year and a half, 2 years at least to get caught up unless they get those.
And that's what I'll say.
Site set up that they were talking about.
If I could get a card, right, and I can get it color slab by Pure Graded X or HGA or one of these guys, and then get it to me as a PC card, I think that would be cool to me. You're right. I don't want to send it to PSA because then if I'm going to wait a year for it, you're right. I forgot about it. But if I'm only going to spend an extra, 3 weeks to get a specialized graded card, I really think like that's what the grading company should do is reach out to breakers like you. And then you can even have your label on the back where it says, Knuckle Breakers on the back with a sticker. This was ripped at Knuckle Breakers in the slab, right? That follows the card for its life.
Pretty amazing. Yeah.
Right. And you could offer that as like something to think about. Let me quickly introduce Michael Hamm. He just joined us. Big fan of Michael Hamm's channel real quickly. I do hope that if people are watching, guys, please do chat as much as you want. Drop your URLs and stuff and do some cross-pollinating here. Anthony's got a great channel if you're not following it. Michael Hamm's got a phenomenal channel as well. He's one of my great friends. Mike, have we got you to 1,000 yet? Are you 1,000?
No, I'm not at 1,000 yet. Not
we're
there
gonna
yet.
Get Michael to 1,000 subscribers. So you do me one favor tonight. Go over to Michael's channel and create another account and subscribe twice. We want to help Michael break 1,000. So tell us what's going on, Michael. What are your thoughts on Dallas and what you've been seeing?
Oh, I thought it's been great. I mean, I just want more content at this point. Like everybody else, you watch it and, obviously it takes time to make all this. And then we just absorb it immediately. And then we want more. Like you, I wanted something kind of like, hey, this is a live chat. It's, 1 a.m. Everybody's toasty. I don't know. I don't know if Dallas show really promotes that really versus like a national where you have all the big brands and companies throwing parties and events. I've been to a lot of big events like this, especially like 5-day events. And when you have that type of environment, then everybody lets loose. It really changes the way the event takes off. I think with them going there, especially a lot of these guys that really haven't been to a big show since COVID's really happened, I think they got their eyes opened a little bit with the amount of product. And then something I complain about all the time, which everybody keeps talking about modern being down. When you go to these shows, modern's everywhere. And it's over and over and over and over. And it's just redundant. And if not, it's a super high card that only elite people can really buy into. It's just hard to find that mid niche. and everybody knows what stuff's worth. You just got to find the guy willing to make a deal. At the end of the day, that's really it. I mean, I go to a show, I figure out, the 4 tables that guys have a card that I'm willing to buy, and maybe the same card, and I'm going to figure out which guy is going to give me the best deal, and I'll even pit that guy against the other guy. I'll point to him. I'm like, that guy right there, he's got you beat by $30. All right, you want this deal or not? So sometimes you got to do that. I mean, it's always in fun too. You don't have to be a jerk about it. At the end of the day, trying to make as much money as they can. You're trying to get the best possible deal. You just got to meet in the middle sometimes, and then sometimes you just want a card, you just buy it. I always tell people, if you want something really bad and you're willing to pay for it, do not haggle over it, because you'll never see that card again when you want to buy it. And when you do, it's going to be too expensive again. So never ever do that. Yeah. But going back to what y'all were just talking about with graded cards, customization is a massive, massive thing. Especially, I forgot which company it was the other day, where they put basically the slab is a different color with something in it, basically. That was so funny, because I grabbed my notes. This is my notes on grading card company things that you can do to increase profit and give the seller something that they want that other people don't offer now. And that was one of the things. I mean, I got other ideas. I don't want to share them just because, I'd rather work with somebody versus giving them the idea on how to do something.
Let me ask you.
Yeah, there's a lot of things.
Would you start a grading company, or would you partner somebody in grading right now?
I would partner with somebody that would already be in grading. Maybe I'm a thinker. I'm a guy that can come up with an idea. I can't usually produce the idea. I'm great at coming up with something because I want this and I would pay for it. So would, another 40-50% of people. So that's money. So if you offer something somebody else isn't doing and you're ahead of somebody else, you make them catch up to you. And that's what you want. Because at the end of the day, you're the pack leader. And that's what you want to be. With PSA being the front runner right now, I don't think they're the best grading company. I don't know why everybody's PSA 10 is the holy grail. A BGS Black, that's the holy grail. A pristine 10. And nobody can argue that, because nobody says what's higher than this. It's nothing. And so why would you not go with the company that has the greatest possible card?
Here's a quick idea. Everybody's familiar with Beckett does the raw graded cards, right? When you go to the show and they'll put them the raw thing, right? And everybody likes those. Well, here's what Beckett should do. Beckett, in my opinion, is in the biggest position to win if they want to. I just think they're sleeping. But they could come out and do a partnership, mass train people to do Beckett graded card reviews, and then partner with those custom slab guys. So I send a Beckett graded 9.5 to HGA or RCG or Pure Graded X, and then you get a customized slab. And all I have to do is Beckett is just wrap it in an envelope and stamp it as raw graded. You know what I'm saying? It's easier for them to do that. They don't do the slabbing. They don't have to take the responsibility on that. They just then pack it up, pass it on, and then can be customized. And then remember, Beckett has the #1 cards that have sold for the most money are in Beckett slabs. Beckett also has subgrades. I mean, I'm a huge Beckett fan. If I were to pick one of if they were all equal on time, I would pick Beckett. You're right, every day. But for some reason, and I think part of it is a lot of people came in and they didn't understand the difference between a 9.5 and a 10, right? Just 10 is a 10, right? It's like a man. If you tell a man you can have a 10 or you can have a wife that's a 9.5, we all want the 10. We don't realize that's not what we want, but we do. So that 10 marketing, I think, got us. You know what I'm saying?
But Anthony, 9 is cheaper.
9 is cheaper.
What was that?
I said, Anthony, I want to open up to you, let you add your thoughts, comments.
I do like Beckett. I just recently picked up a few Becketts, and I would pretty much stay away from anything that doesn't have subgrades. And I feel like I found 2 pretty decent gems. One was a Christian McCaffrey that was a pink optic and a 9, but had 3 9.5 subgrades in the ones that I think you would want, centering, corners, and edges, and an 8.5 in surface, which is, I feel like it's set up to be a crack, and you polish it up and maybe get a 9 on the surface, and that makes it a 9.5. So I'm not necessarily going to crack it. I think there's good value regardless, because the price I got it at, I think was really reasonable. But I do like the fact of the subgrades with the 9s.
Yeah. Well, subgrades give you differentiation as well. I heard somebody talk about this again. When you're just an investor looking for a commodity, I want to buy corn or bean, then you buy 10s. you can't put all BGS 9.5s are the same because each one has a different subgrade. And again, collectors appreciate that. Collectors want that differentiation. Some of them do it, as you said, for the crossover. Some of it do it just because they can show their friend, man, I got 3 9.5s and a 10, and you've only got all 9.5s. My card's better than yours, right? I mean,
absolutely.
And that's kind of the whole thing. So, I do think that BGS will make a resurgence. I think if they just woke up and did some marketing, right, I think they could make a huge resurgence. I just don't know. Maybe they're content. Maybe they're content with what's going on.
I think they're content. I don't think they want to grow, worrying about everything shrinking later, and then maybe having to shrink their staff too. They've been around for so long at this point, but to me, subgrades are everything. I want to know what's wrong with the card. In one of Jeff's videos, I think the second one, one of the cards that was graded, when he had looked at it, had a soft corner, and he was like, I don't know how this got graded. This it was a PSA card, and I don't remember which card it was. But I was like, that just shows you right there the lack of consistency PSA has had over years of just slapping stuff out there. And now they're all of a sudden, strict and grading hard. They went through an investigation. I don't know why they got swept under the rug either. They got investigated over a year and a half ago, pretty nasty by the FBI. So, and people kind of just, that disappeared. I don't know why.
Well, here's a great story I listened to Because I'm Carlos, who's a really interesting perspective on stuff. And he made a very great point. You have to realize that every grader has done what? They've all hired new graders. Okay, all of them have. Now think about your own work. If you've done your job for 30 years, you probably have a list of things you would teach somebody if they came in, a list of 15 steps. But do you follow those 15 steps yourself? Probably not. His point being, with all these new graders coming in there, they are going to be stricter because they believe they have to be. So again, it goes back to what I've always said. There's too much human error in this. There's too much magic and wizardry and not enough technology, right? Like even with PSA talking about the fingerprinting they're going to do, where they're going to fingerprint a card, what they should do is make that fingerprint public. So in other words, I'm going to fingerprint this card. I'm going to use the algorithm. Here's the algorithm I used to do it. And here's the fingerprint, make it public. So anybody grading could then verify it. If they see the card, they could fingerprint it too. Oh, I've got a match. You're right. PSA already graded this. If they're not going to do that with fingerprinting, to me, it's more hocus pocus until they make it a standard, right? If it's a standard, and that's what we want to. We want accurate grades. We want that if I were to crack a 9 or crack a 9.5, somebody's going to tell me which is accurate. Until we have that, it's all subjective. It's just, it's interesting. Here's a quick comment. I want you guys to answer this. There's a company called Michael Baker's Authentication, MBA, and they do these stickers, right? I saw these guys last year. They grade the grader that they'll look at. And dude, the sales pitch is unbelievable, right? We look at your cards and we'll tell you if your PSA 9 is a silver, gold, or platinum, which means it could bump up. I mean, I thought when that came up, I really thought that wouldn't last a week. I thought somebody would laugh that shit out of the business, but it's still here. And they're making a lot of money. In fact, I saw Slab Stocks use them the other day, and I was shocked. Like, I even questioned them, like, dude, really? What do you guys think about that?
Well, it's the differentiation, right? It's the differentiation between one and the other, which is theoretical at this point. If it's already been graded, right? I guess somebody could regrade it. That's why I think a lot of companies are switching over to the hybrid grading, where a person is looking at it, identifying some of the things that they can see with the naked eye, and then it's being scanned and looked at through a microscope in different areas by a computer system that's telling you what the grade is. I think that where you have, it's kind of like the thought process of having an electronic umpire.
It's just crazy to me.
People are frustrated with one thing, but they don't want to use it at the other. So it's kind of like it's weird as a breaker to watch it, because you see the advantages of using a computer system, which is telling you these are the objectives that need to be met to hit its end. And if it doesn't hit those things, it goes down a grade to whatever grade they match. I think I heard PSA was even looking into doing a hybrid grading system as well, or they just brought it in or something like that. So, I mean, who knows?
Here's a great comment. I did see this. Triggerfinger mentioned this. Did you guys see? Jeff was doing a deal with a Larry Bird Magic Rookie PSA 9, and the dude brought it over to his friends to get it authenticated, which I'm thinking to myself, do you come back and call out Jeff, dude, this is a fake? Do you think somebody would have done that? I thought that was crazy. I loved it.
Yes,
it's funny. And Oh, go ahead, buddy.
I was gonna say, like you talking about those little labels that they put on. I saw maybe a few months ago, JM Sports. I don't know if you follow him. He puts out some really good stuff, and he had a Mickey Mantle, I think PSA 5. So I think with vintage, there could be a lot of value with getting those authenticated additionally, because he got it to a gold sticker. So I think that adds a nice premium on, because I think there's a lot more subjectiveness that goes into vintage. So I think that's a good opportunity. If you think like, hey, this looks better than a 5, let's get
I
it
understand
the
that
gold label.
vintage is a lot about eye appeal, but again, I still go back to why would you pay somebody else another? And here's my thing: I'll just say, why is the Michael Baker Authenticator anybody better than the PSA grader or the BGS grader? Right? Here's an example: there's no certification these guys go to college to come out a grader. There's no vocational school that you go through grading school. This is really bartenders, guys. Do you know what I'm saying?
So,
it's like they're bartenders. Who makes a better drink?
But I'm sure they have a training guide. Just like at my work, I had to develop a training guide for each employee.
It's like a bartender again. How do you make a vodka?
Yeah, but anybody can learn to make a. But anybody can learn to make a drink, and then they can get better at it. My thing is I want to know what their standards are. What is their magnification when they're looking at corners? How the hell do you even look at a damn edge with the, like, for instance, the computer grading system? You know, an edge is almost impossible to really look at. Corners, I don't know, because I mean, I've looked at stuff at a 10 magnification, a 30, a 40 through a digital microscope. Every single one of them just makes the card look worse as I get closer. So at what level, you know, and that's a brand new card. So at what level is considered, this is what we're looking for? And do you want a little hair on it? Does it need to be a laser sharp edge? I don't really know. Nobody ever really explains it. I can't remember if it was Tough Stuff or Beckett back in the day. They used to show you a picture of the Babe Ruth Big League Chew card, and they would give you 4 diagrams of not mint, near mint, mint, and fine. But that was the closest anybody ever showing you what they meant by the grade. And none of the SGC video, we all wanted to watch somebody grading a card. We wanted to see the process, not show me a bunch of people and what they're doing. I don't care if they're blowing shit off with an air gun and laying shit. Didn't bother me. That's not what I want. I want to see the process. What am I looking for before I send it to you?
Did you see, Michael, you saw that Sarasota CSG is doing that grading workshop. Are you going to go to that?
Yeah. No.
Are you going to attend? No interest?
No. I mean, my buddy, Bryant, who was actually just in a video of Personal Finance Dad and Jeff, he sold both of them cards in their recent videos. He's got a really close buddy that's got that job as soon as they basically open that location up down there. So I can just kind of piggyback off of him. And then my buddy Brian's just opened a card shop here in North Tampa. So, I mean, and he grades cards a lot through a guy named KK, which is one of the largest graders now. Yeah. So, I mean, and he's been grading cards at KK before KK was even popular. So they have a really good, his gym rate is like 70%. So he's like, show me the card and I'll just tell you, don't send it in at all, or you're going to get a 9 or a 10, or this is definitely a 10. He can tell me that with a massive amount of confidence, and he's got the data to back it up.
I'm going to try to go to that grading conference. I would love to see what the process is. I mean, I think, for example, that's some really good content right there for YouTube.
Oh yeah,
go down to the weekend in Sarasota and just see how they're grading and understand it. I just love that.
I just want to see if they show it, though. I don't know how much they're going to let you in behind the curtain. You want just because you get to the castle, you don't know what the Wizard of Oz really looks like, and you may end up with that with this. It may be like kind of like a soft. This is how we do. I don't know. It's like almost like I don't want to go to be disappointed more than anything.
Well, maybe that's part of it. If you see how the sausages are made, then you don't want to know it, right? I mean, I will still go back to. It's funny. Before people were into this whole grading and investing, everybody really was upset about they wanted accurate grades, right? So people would complain that PSA was inaccurate because they did have a lot of poorly centered cards. There's a lot of laughing stocks on the PSA side where they've made more mistakes, right? Then I think BGS had a really good reputation until they had the black label Zion that was about as crooked as could be, and that really made a stir. You guys remember that, where they had a black label Zion that, I mean, it was so off centered, it was terrible. And someone started wondering who the hell stabbed that.
The new guy, that's who. That's exactly who. But hey, I got a question for Knuckle Breaker, because you do a lot of breaks, obviously. How do you calculate costs per team if you do a picture team?
All right, so there's a couple ways I do it. If I've never broken the product, or it's a product that's like a new product out, like a new release. I know back in when I was doing a lot of hockey, they were coming out with brand new products that had no checklist, no release points. They didn't really have a lot of. They just kind of threw it at you and said, "Here you go." And then the checklist came out 2 weeks after or a week after, and you were like, "Oh, thanks, appreciate it." But what I used to do there is I kind of would go to Break Ninja or Group Break Checklist and see how many hits per team per box you would get on average that they had. So like Break Ninja does a really good job, especially the older products, in saying like, you know, Atlanta Falcons have 12 hits in their lineup, and it's 3 autos, 4 memorabilia. And then what I would do is I took the amount. It is crazy, but I took the amount of how much the box was, and kind of figured out a percentage of how much each hit in each individual team would cost, which for me just gave me a baseline. So if the case cost me $2,000, and that's what I was looking to get for it, and Atlanta had 10 hits, they had each one of their hits were worth 0.001, right? And then you take that and divide it back out, and it came up with a formula. So I came up with this crazy formula, which took forever to figure out. But after you get used to like what things are selling for, you can kind of eye it. Like for me now, I can kind of go through and say, okay, I have an Excel spreadsheet. I put it down on the bottom how much I need, and then I kind of go to town.
I mean, I break. I get in breaks.
What kind of hits? What would be valuable? What would make you money? And then I kind of go at it that way.
Gotcha. I get into a lot of breaks at certain times. I kind of go through waves with breaking, and I have my niche guys that I stick with. But in some of the groups that I follow, just the general pricing for specific teams fluctuates so much, especially if you're targeting certain teams. Doesn't always have to be the top team, but I just don't sometimes understand how people calculate what they come up with. Where one break, let's say a lower end team that I'm just willing to take a chance on is $8. And then the next break, this guy's got it for 15. It's almost double. And I'm like, okay, I'm long shotting this, like really long shotting it.
Well, everybody,
and you're really just blocking me off at this point.
I think a lot of breakers just fly by the seat of their pants. There's not really a lot of thought process to it. I can't think about. I'm not talking about other breakers, but I know a lot of breakers that don't really know how to price what they're doing. They'll go to other groups and check out what they're pricing at and kind of do an average of it and go, okay, this is what we're going to do. I just kind of wanted to see what the value of a hit would cost in a certain product to start with. And that kind of gave me a process in my head when I go to list stuff. And a lot of the stuff that I do on my site isn't PYT. It's a random, but I will do like pick one, get one. So we'll lock the 10 best teams, and you pick a team that's not a lockbox, and then after everybody's picked, it also only takes 15 people to get into a break that way. Yeah. I'll take the remaining teams plus a locked, and then I'll random those, and then so not only do you get a team that you pick, but you also have the opportunity to get like a big boy on top of it for a good amount.
Yeah.
It is interesting.
I try to keep it. Like I said, I was spending like $12 and $30 is pretty much where I'm trying to live. I know other breakers can get more for that, but for me, it's that's where we're at right now. So,
well, and there's a process of this where you have to make money too. This is time, effort, shipping, all that stuff. People don't calculate and understand that there's so much more that goes on the backside for a breaker. Yeah. And it looks fun. It's great, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of work that goes into being a breaker and to being a good breaker and a trusted breaker. And people don't really understand and respect that. They see the price point. I mean, I know some people, they get upset with the way they handle cards. I can agree with that too. Anytime I see somebody take a whole set of cards and go chop, chop, chop to, block them off, I'm like, well, what are you doing with my cards, you crazy animal? Stop it. You know what I mean? I'm just like, it's like, it just drives me crazy. I don't want to piss them off because then he might really jack my card up. But it's just like, handle all these things with love and care. And, it's just really interesting. I always like the breaker's perspective versus the majority of us who are just in breaks and don't comprehend how everything really works on the backside.
Well, I think that the one thing that's tough and you don't, like the shipping supplies nowadays are so expensive. Same thing with like top loaders, basic normal supplies that didn't cost a lot back when we first started are now creeping up. So it's tough because logistically you have to really be ahead. I was telling Zig about this earlier. You really need to be ahead of everything and kind of look for the best deals that you possibly find. I don't ever use old products, so I won't use like the old used top loaders for new product. For like, if you're gonna break with me, I don't feel like that's right. I really don't. I know that some breakers will use whatever, but I feel like if you're buying into a break, you deserve a new top loader, new everything, really. So those are the kind of things that not skimping out on costs a lot of money, though. And I think a lot of people don't get. Like, I love on eBay, people are clueless sometimes, and they're like, well, I bought so many teams. Well, you bought 3 teams that cost $6 each. You paid $18, and I appreciate that. Guys that spent $70 or more, and not giving me nearly the grief that you are over the most trivial things. So those are the people that are telling you to speed up in the break. I hate that. Because I'm not a quick breaker. I'm not a slow breaker, but I also want people to, if you get into a break with me, I want you to see the cards that get pulled and have the ability to look at your card for 5 seconds and maybe take a screenshot as opposed to so there's all different ways to approach it, but I do think that like the supply aspect overall, like I get torched on a daily basis for doing minor things. So I sent somebody out a coupon for shipping. I got lit up for it because they didn't get anything to break. And I'm like, well, what else do you want? I gave you a coupon that gave you shipping back next time you get me. I've been putting in cards, so that's not good enough, So it's like you just try to manage the ebbs and flows and kind of do the best you can. And I'm myself and try to just show that at every break. If I'm in a good mood, man, I'm all over the place. If I'm in a bad mood, I'm usually all over the place, but not as crazy. So it's just one of those things where it takes a long time. It takes this 6 years of it, and I'm still not where I'd like to be. So, I'm still pushing and still trying to figure out what the best form.
Yeah, I'll say right
when
now,
they
guys,
stunk, but
I'm having some internet issues as well. I don't know if you guys are as well. I'm getting some severe lag here, and I think I know why.
I get some lag, but
I apologize for that for everybody's watching. There's some internet lag. I'm also a little bit over the hour. I'm going to go ahead and just go around the horn, let you guys close. Any comments, thoughts, or anything you want to talk about, promote your site. I do want to thank everybody for joining. We'll be doing the daily live every morning. I'm going to be doing a collaboration here with Anthony in the future. We're going to be talking later on. I got a lot to talk to Anthony about. Michael would love to do something with you as well sometime. We're going to get you over 1,000 pretty quickly. So I want to see fishing with Michael as well. So anything to say, close for you guys?
No, nothing. I went fishing today, caught a bass. I only fished for about 10 minutes. So I got my fill in on that really quick. And then I'll probably break open a mega box of Select here in a minute for some content for the channel because I haven't opened one of those yet.
Awesome, man. Good luck.
That's dope. No, yeah, I appreciate you having me on. It was a blast, just talking, listening to everybody. And just today was pretty crazy day for a New York sports fan. Got a nice walk-off win from the Yankees, and then just a heartbreaker by Trey Young with the 0.9 of a second with the buzzer beater, and then Randall with the attempt fadeaway. Didn't even get it off in time. tough game, but
the Knicks they look good, man. The future is bright. In fact, I'll tell you I think Zion plays for the Knicks as soon as he can. Zion and RJ will win a couple championships together, probably within 5 to 7 years. I'm going to call it now.
That'd be cool.
Guys, thanks again for joining. I really appreciate the support. Everybody, thanks for watching. I'm sorry to get to every comment. Integrity Farms, great to see you. Trigger Finger, always great to see you. Sports Card Seller, great to see you guys. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Have a great day. Everybody in Dallas, have safe travels back. We can't wait to see your content. We want to see more of those breaks, guys. Thank you again, guys. Have a great night. Cheers.
Thank you.
Everybody. Take care.